As number 7 LSU rallied from a 16-point deficit to beat number 14 Kentucky 65-58. Mikaylah Williams scored 15 of her 24 points in the second half. The Tigers fell behind 38-22 in the first half, but outscored the Wildcats 23-6 in the third quarter. The fourth quarter featured 4 lead changes before Williams hit a wide open three-pointer with 50 seconds left to put the game away, and it was LSU coach Kim Mulkey's 750th career victory, and it secured a top 4 seed in the SEC tournament for the Tigers. So, Elijah, how important is it for this group to be playing good basketball at this point in the year? Not just about the conference tournament, but more so about March Madness as we get there to the postseason.
Very important. I mean, when people lose, especially at this time of the year, it could be demoralizing to even a great team. No matter if you was ranked number 1 or you was number 25 in the nation, like losing at this time of the year could be demoralizing because you want to be coming in there hot, shooting your best percentages that you can, getting open looks, playing the best team basketball that you can, offensively, defensively, and just scraping and scribbling out wins no matter what happens, whether if it's 1 point or 20 points. So for LSU, I think that they're pulling out this win. That's big, right? Being down, 16 points. Mikaylah scoring 15 of her 24 in the second half. Anissa, she get another double-double. So it's like they're playing their best basketball, right? But right now, and I'm going to ask you this question, Fitz. Is this the way that you want to win, though? Don't get me wrong. It's in style. If Kim Mulkey wanted to win for her 750th time in style, that's it. This is it. But right now, think about this. You lose to Texas by giving up a lead. Then you're down to Kentucky, and you have to scrape back and win against that one. Is this more of an impressive win for you? Or do you think like this was like something like just to get back on track?
I don't think it's truly an impressive win, just because your big stars did what they were supposed to do. Mikaylah Williams is one of the best 3-level basketball players in all of women's basketball. Flage also had a double-double, I think 13 and 13 rebounds as well. And then, like you mentioned, Anissa Morrow with another double-double, her I think 25th there of the season. But when you look at the rest of the box score, nobody else coming close to, well, other than Day Wilson, nobody else coming close to double figures. Jersey Wolf had 7 minutes. She didn't score any points. Jada Richard went in for a brief minute. She took a shot and didn't have any points. Kaylin Gilbert had 4 points. Last year, Poa had 2 points. Really, in this game as a whole, nobody, made a whole lot of shots. LSU shot like 36% from the floor. So what I'm looking at, if I'm LSU right now, I know what Mikaylah Williams can do. I know what Flage Johnson can do. I know what Anissa Moore can do. Now you need everybody else around them to start getting more minutes in and getting big shots up as well, because that's what's going to ultimately win you a championship. We saw back when they did it a couple years ago, Jasmine Carson had the game of her life. Last year, Poa had some great 3-pointers in the game. Like, it's about the role players just as much as it is your star players. Hats off to Kentucky for coming out and playing the way that they did. I think in the first half, they out-rebounded offensive rebounds at least. I think they had 11 there in the first half, and then LSU flipped the script, and it looked completely different in the second half. It was really just a tale of two halves. So Kentucky is a team that, they're going to fight all the way to the end. It was senior day there for, I think her name is Georgia Amore, and she came out, and how many points did she have? Georgia Amore had 16 points. She led all scorers for Kentucky. So, I mean, she came out and she scrapped and she fought for her last opportunity to play on her home court in her career. And what this also tells me is that women's college basketball is about as wide open as we've seen in a long time. I saw somebody tweeted the other day that right now, bro, we are in the golden age of women's college basketball. Notre Dame, number 1 team in the country, goes down in double overtime. South Carolina losing to UConn last week. USC upsetting UCLA when they were number 1 in the country. LSU losing to Texas last week. Like, if we talking about just one and done games, anybody can lose on any given day. That is what we're seeing right now. And LSU was able to survive, falling in an instance where um, it very early on, it looked like Kentucky was about to pull it out. It looked like they were about to upset them, and I think that if they would have won the game, they could have had a shot at clinching a top 4 seed and a double bye in the SEC tournament. But I think they needed more help from like Ole Miss and another team. LSU just needed to win, and they got it. Now we know from what Kim Mulkey has said in the past, the conference tournament isn't as important to her because it's more so for your Cinderella teams that go on a run in the conference tournament. They get the automatic bid. They go to the NCAA tournament, and from there they can make a little bit more magic happen. But you never want to be the team that some of that magic starts up against. So a lot of credit to LSU for coming out on top against a very scrappy Kentucky ball club, but we're going to have to see a little bit more from some of the role players, especially when we get down into March Madness, because the game plan going in, the scouting report, people are going to say, all right, we got these 3 girls. We might not be able to shut down all 3 of them, but we know we can't let them be the reason that they win. You're going to have to beat us with the role players. It's very similar to what we were saying going into the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. If Jalen Hurts has the game of his career, you got to tip your cap to that. It can't be Saquon Barkley that wins the game for you. That's how teams are viewing LSU. It can't be Mikaylah Williams. It can't be Anissa Morrow getting a double-double. You got to find a way to make sure that it's your role players that are, making, it difficult for you to win in a ball game. So LSU improves to, I believe, 27-2. Those 2 losses, obviously, to South Carolina and Texas. They're on the road. So we'll see. We'll see as we get closer to the end of the regular season what things will look like for the Lady Tigers, the Fighting Tigers of LSU, and what they will be able to do in women's college basketball.